Not exactly out of the blue, this nice, solid box arrived for me today. And I was momentarily surprised. Like, my first thought was, oh, Wraith. But then I saw Studio 2 Publishing. But then I saw Onyx Path. And so there was a moment of confusion. I don't know why I didn't connect Studio 2 Publishing with the physical delivery of Wraith 20th Anniversary Edition, but I didn't. Anyway, so the box survived its transit to Asia and ultimately Korea and ultimately Daejeon quite fine. This end of the tape was torn, and part of the box was not exactly crushed, but also torn, almost like someone wanted to peek inside. Which is not a big deal, right? And now we'll go up and we'll look inside the box and see that, interestingly, there's absolutely no protection on the top of the box. But when, just give me a second here to see if I can show you what I'm seeing. It looks like fabric for the surface of the book, but the glare on top of the shrink wrap is just too much. But as I pull on it, you can see it's seated quite well, but upside down it would be sitting on its own surface. So I don't know what informed this packing decision, but anyway, let's get it out of the box. And pretty good quality shrink wrap. If your intention was to buy the deluxe offset press version of Wraith the Oblivion 20th edition, and you just wanted to leave it in shrink wrap so it could, accrue value or something, it'd be pretty easy to do. So what I'm trying to show you here is that that imprinted on the cover are chains. No lock, no logo, no title, nothing, just a mass of chains across the top, and silver gilt pages, which I think is a good choice given the black scheme. And then here, a hard raised curved plastic disc with the Wraith 20 logo. And I'm having difficulty getting it to register, but it says Wraith the Oblivion down the side of the game, along with the 2X 20 logo and some chains, and maybe you're seeing a hint of it here. I am going to take the shrink wrap off so you'll be able to see it better, but I know that you can see the cloth-like look. What you can't sense is the smell. Even through the shrink wrap, there's a very strong, very chemical smell. The idea of this being leatherette or leather or anything like that is instantly dispelled by this smell. It's not even a glue smell. Okay, so let's get the shrink wrap off so we can actually see this very dark product. I like the matte excuse me, I like the matte black finish. I'm not thrilled with the texture that I'm already feeling, because it feels like rubber. It looks like rubber, and it feels like rubber. So the idea of leatherette, already dispelled by the smell, is now completely gone by contact. It doesn't feel like linen, doesn't feel like cloth, doesn't feel like a soft leather-like cover. What it feels like is a car tire, something like that. Now I'm trying to focus in on damage. There was no damage to the shrink wrap. There was no damage to the part of the box this corner of the book was in, so I can easily deduce that this is a manufacturing error. From time to time you see these, and so my deluxe collector's edition is marred from the get-go. But, I play games and read books and use books at the table, so it's not a big deal. If I were in for this as a collector, I would be pretty upset, I imagine. I'm not upset, but you might be. I'm not saying that yours is going to come damaged. This is how mine came. The corners on mine are perfect, and now I think you should be able to see how deep the text is imprinted, how not as deep the chains are imprinted in the cover of the book. And if I have not quite communicated it to you, the smell is extremely strong and the feel is of rubber. As for color brightness, the print on demand, which I've previously showed and which we'll show again later on in this video, had pretty good, in its premium version, color. So I wasn't really expecting this to be more colorful, right? I think the color was correct in the premium print-on-demand version, and so it will also be correct here. I was expecting higher quality pages. Now these pages currently, because this is the first time the book has been opened, are sticking together. It doesn't flip very smoothly, but you can hear, I believe, that these are, thick pages. They certainly have a better feel. It's a glossier, smoother feel than what I remember of the print-on-demand, but I'll do a direct comparison as soon as I get the two of them side by side. What is concerning me a little bit is how the pages don't close. They are stiff, and I'm not sure why that's happening. Whether it's because the paper quality is so heavy or if it's something else. The other huge advantage of this version excuse me, of the printing is simply that it's smith bound. So it's a sewn binding, so it will lay flat like this comfortably without risk of damage, and this book should have quite a very long shelf life, where the print-on-demand version definitely cannot do this. So let's look at both of them together. For those of you who are forgetful, the print-on-demand is on the left and the offset press is on the right in all black. So, as we have noted before in previous comparison videos of this type, the print-on-demand is significantly thicker. They are basically the same height, but differing widths. This is simply a function of the process of print-on-demand plus the different binding methods. So, this is the clearest version I can show of the appearance of the book. The texture, as you can tell, it's designed to look and feel like a linen wrap. The print-on-demand version is simply a hardcover book. So we'll do a color comparison and we'll do a full bleed page comparison. So you'll note that there are end papers on the right. There are no end papers on the left. The print-on-demand simply has white end papers. So we'll zoom in close to try and give you a visual comparison of the density of the image and the color of the image. So higher image density in the offset press version. To my eyes, the color is identical. As for the bleed of the pages, the print-on-demand premium edition is full bleed, and what you get is full bleed. So you're not going to notice a difference there. You're not going to have more or fuller bleed in one than the other. And again, to my eyes, they look identical in terms of quality and the details represented. All right, so that's as close in as I can get in focus, and then we compare and we see basically the exact same thing in terms of color and image quality. All right. However, the offset press, the collector's edition, has significantly better paper. Smoother, little thicker. So what we're looking at here is the paper for the print-on-demand version. Note over there in the corner that there's no color end paper, right? So we come over here, we do the same test. Texture, it's a smooth paper. The paper itself more easily separates from the papers behind it, meaning it's thicker. And yeah, it is what it is. Do you get better paper? Yes. Does it behave better? Yes, with one caveat. Is it better bound? Yes. Is the actual printing quality on the page different? not to my eyes, except in some art where the texture of the paper might be having some influence. But here's one of the, well, it's a muddy color. Let's say, it's in browns, and there are no really bright, striking colors. So how do they compare? Well, as you can see, they look the same. So let's look at these sidebars with imagery in the background, watermarking and that sort of stuff. What does that look like? Here, I feel, and this is subjective, that the sidebars do look better in the offset press edition. So, in terms of print quality, very cool. Now, you're looking straight down at these books from above, and you'll notice that places where I've had the Deluxe edition open, it wants to stay open. And this is making me very uncomfortable. This is not something I've seen in a book before, and frankly, I don't like it, where you see much better behavior among the pages. They're getting along so much better in the print-on-demand version. So, one final survey of the Deluxe edition. You'll notice we're not talking about the content. Obviously, the content is identical between the two versions. And we have lots of videos already which are talking about the quality of the content in Wraith 20th edition. So, what are we looking at? We're simply looking at what did we get as backers for backing this at the Deluxe print copy level. At the time of recording, the print-on-demand map of Stygia was made available to backers, and that was the last piece of the puzzle, other than the release of the fiction, which was not part of my pledge. So, as far as I'm concerned, this particular Kickstarter is now over. I've received all the things I'm going to receive. Early on in the campaign, timing, delivery, and communication were great. In the middle, they were tragic and terrible for reasons that have been discussed. And here at the end, the communication excluded backers from decisions which made what they had backed for not what they would get, such as the feel of a leatherette cover, the idea to make it feel like textured black rubber, etc., etc. So this is a very unusual campaign which has upset a large number of people, and not simply because it's late, but because it's not what was discussed. So personally, I'm happy to have received it. I am glad that the company was able to pull everything together and deliver this game. I hope that all the frustrations created by the Kickstarter will not prevent people from playing, learning how to play, learning how to truly play this game and share it with others. I hope that that will still happen, despite what we've talked about in the specific clips about content. Wraith is in our hands as players. That's where it lives and, forgive me, dies. And I think it deserves a chance.